like usually you're able to recognize like when the team fight's already won just from like one mistake, and I think
Hmm.
that's like something you just have to realize as an AD carry player.
This is Azento from Esports Heaven, and I have here with me WildTurtle from FlyQuest.
Uh,
Victorious, yo, over TSM, and actually more than victorious, I would say. You guys just completely smashed them. A couple oopsies here and there, but all in all, a pretty good game. What do you think of, I guess, TSM's performance in all of this, first off?
Honestly, I think we just came prepared with pretty good plan, so it was really hard for them to actually do anything after we got the early game advantages. Like we had a really good plan of stopping them from invading our red buff, which
Mm-hmm.
worked out, and then we camped Olaf on his blue buff too. So I think after those two early game strategies, honestly I don't think TSM had much to answer with. But maybe they could have stopped the bleeding in some other areas. But I would have to rewatch the game to figure that out.
Yeah. I mean, I know you guys were up. I want to say it was like 7K by 13 minutes or something. So it
Yeah,
was
it's kind of absurd. Yeah.
so I kind of want to talk about some of your individual plays, because I noticed, you had this sick kill on the Bjergsen early into the game, where you went mid with Ignar, and you flash forward, and towards the end of the game, you also had this top siege moment where you're trying to kill top tower next to the inhibitor, and you had like this awesome heal escape from the shockwave instead of using your flash, which was available, I think. So famously on TSM, there was that time they told you not to flash forward. So I
Hmm.
just want to harken back maybe to the idea of what's your opinion on summoner use and restraint, especially for the ADC role or player? Like, do you think that there might be this gap in knowledge for certain ADC players on using their summoner spells?
I'm just gonna say there's like a right time and place for everything. Like I think it just depends on how you use it. I think some players use like the flash word like really well, and some players prefer to just hold on to it and save it at a better time. And I think both are fine. It's just like what your play style is like.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's like many occurrences where like top AD carries they do have like a flash in moment, and you just have to seek out those moments yourself and know when to do it.
Mm. So you came up on your 1500th kill, but didn't quite get it,
Close,
very
close.
close.
Uh-huh.
Second to double lift in the entire league. But I want to talk about, I guess, how you get to that, because your DPM is usually very high among ADCs, and you often press the line a lot to get extra damage out. So what do you think allows you to put out DPM more than other ADCs?
Um, well, it's kind of just about like knowing your timings very well. This is like a line that I try to tread a lot, just like playing at the edge and trying not to die and doing as much damage as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I've actually gotten worse at that, like over the years. Like it's kind of harder for me to find the line nowadays, just
Mm.
because I think all the other players are getting better too. But I think that's like the point. That's like the sweet spot of like a good AD carry. I think just knowing when you can deal damage, when you have to back off, when like usually you're able to recognize like when the team fight's already won just from like one mistake, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that's like something you just have to realize as an AD carry player,
Mm.
which can be like pretty challenging, but that's like the point you need to get to be the top AD carry.
Yeah. So you've been subbed out for quite a while, and
Hmm.
I just want to hear, in your own words, maybe, what do you think the difference is between you and Mash as ADC players, and maybe a reason as to why FlyQuest would put Mash in aside from you, or you in aside from Mash?
Honestly, I haven't really compared myself to Mash that much. I just kind of look more introspectively and see what I could be doing better. And I think during the time where I did get subbed out, I was definitely making uncharacteristic mistakes that I
Mm.
normally don't don't do very much, and just
Mm-hmm.
like lack of focus, just not being really present, right? And I think that was like I'm not gonna like blame it on anything else. I was just like having I don't know bad mental state, and then
Mm.
I'm just like working towards getting to a better spot so I can perform and not let down my teammates, which is what I'm working towards now.
Yeah. So with this win and seemingly kind of, I guess throughout FlyQuest history, you guys seem to be constantly underrated a lot by the community. Uh,
Uh,
like, I guess first of all, do you think this is true? And second of all, like, do you think if it is true, then is it because of the strength relative to the generality of North American teams and how they're weak? Aside from Cloud9, I guess.
um, that's definitely a factor as well, but I think it's more due to the fact that we're very inconsistent. I think sometimes we have like pretty high highs and pretty low
Mm-hmm.
lows, right? I think likewise as a team, like when we're taking a loss, it looks like we're a bottom LCS team, something like that. Like we're not very good at like stopping the bleeding and holding onto the game, which is
Mm.
obviously a big weakness. Where top teams in other regions, like if they're falling down like one and 2,000 gold, they'll still have ways to come back in the game. And I think for us as FlyQuest, we get defeated very easily, is what I'm seeing. And I think that can really, you know, fans can definitely doubt that we're a good team just because of that. But we do
Mm.
have like pretty good games as well, especially where we're winning. But that's like a sweet spot we also have to find.
Okay. So finally, I want to ask, because I don't think I've ever heard you say in an interview, just what are your thoughts on being viewed as the face of FlyQuest? Because I don't think in any part of your career you've ever been like this focal player for an organization. You've always kind of been like this secondary guy that's just kind of in the background doing his job, getting the
Hmm.
deeps out. So just what are your thoughts on being viewed as the face of FlyQuest itself?
Honestly, I kind of still feel that way. Like I feel like what's a good example? I feel like Pau Gasol of the Lakers when he was on the Lakers, second to Kobe Bryant, stuff like that.
Hmm.
I really haven't much to add to that, but it feels nice that people view me as that, and I just want to make people proud and inspire people.
All right, cool. Well, you put some pretty good inspiration for that last game, so that's going for
Thank you,
you.
thank you. Yeah.
All right, well, this has been Azento from Esports Heaven and WildTurtle from FlyQuest. Thank you very much.
See you guys.